That might be the first time I try cocaine, House.
Oh, I encourage that. Please, right
Like
now,
the
you
coke?
come on Netflix. Let's do that.
No, I don't. It's definitely a psychology experiment. I'm hoping the Patriots make it a little bit easier for us with that.
Do you think you're going to be able to like enjoy the game knowing that you're going to go live right after? Like, what point do you like, I need to kind of get into podcast mode, sit down, turn the equipment on, and get ready to go?
I don't think I've ever enjoyed a game where my team was favored to win the game and it was a playoff game. I don't know how you enjoy that. The enjoyable ones are when you're like the 2001 Pats when we were like 10-point underdogs in Pittsburgh. And you're just playing. I love the house money playoff games. This one where they're favored. I feel like the AFC's open. I feel like they're better than most people think they are, including House. So there's a lot at stake. And the big angle for me, on top of your angles, I genuinely think Drake May is like special as a quarterback. I really feel like he's great. Like he's like Mahomes in 2018, where after a while you're like, this guy's fucking great.
Well,
and
then he won a playoff game. Daniels last year, who won 2 road playoff games.
Jaden Daniels, who got hurt this year, but last year.
Could say him.
At some point, we watched Jaden Daniels like, this guy's great. And we've had this happen with quarterbacks every once in a while in the playoffs and I just think he has it. I think his teammates think he has it. So for me, it's like, I think they're going to be able to move the ball. They got their left tackle back. I think they're going to be able to run the ball a little more than people realize because of Ramondre and Henderson coming on. And I think the Chargers have a lot of trouble, especially if Hampton's not 100% healthy. They don't score a lot of points. The Chargers, what do they have? It's basically like 19 points a game, their last 10 or something. They play 17, 14, 20 to 16 type of games, right? Herbert in the playoffs, I like.
He's also fumbled it a lot lately. He only had 2 fumbles, I think, in the first 12 games, but he's fumbled the ball 5 times since he hurt his non-throwing hand. So if it's not ideal conditions, he could be turning this ball over.
We have playoff manifesto rule, the law of Lombardi, bad offensive lines don't travel. Who has a worse offensive line than the Chargers? We have the warm weather team coming to play in the cold weather at night. We have the never pick an underdog unless you genuinely believe they can win, which House thinks they can win, and then the home field advantage. But I just think the Pats are better than people think. I don't think people realize that they didn't have Milton Williams and Will Campbell for 4 or 5 weeks there. And people got too fixated on the schedule. They can move the ball. They have number 1 offense by EPA, and they have a quarterback who's excellent. House, make the case against them.
Yeah, I'm not going to be a prick about it. I just think that 3.5 is too many points. Like I wouldn't mess with this if it was 2.5 or 2 or whatever. Like the Patriots as a home field, having a home field advantage as a 14-3 2 seed. That I'd leave it alone, but 3.5 is too many. And there's a handful of reasons why. First of all, this Chargers team is tough. They've won tough games. They have 3 wins over playoff teams. They swept the Chiefs, and we watched that Monday night game against the Philadelphia Eagles. Still stuck in my craw. Now, Hurts aided and abetted the demise of the Eagles in that game. Yes. But Herbert was pressured 70% of the time and took 7 sacks, and they won that effing football game because their defense shut down the Eagles. Now, I'm not suggesting that, the Eagles offense and New England's offense are equivalent. They certainly are not. And I don't really have much quibble with Drake May winning MVP this year. I think there's a good case for Stafford, but if Drake May wins, I'm certainly not going to be upset. The problem I have is what you've hit on a couple times, which is, what do we know about this Patriots team against tough competition? Right. They placed 1 good quarterback, who's Josh Allen. They split with him. Justin Herbert's going to be the 2nd best quarterback that they face all season long. 14 wins for the Patriots. 11 of those wins have come against teams with rookie quarterbacks, backup quarterbacks, or back quarterbacks that got benched. 11 of 14. So that goes to a lot of what we were talking about with the
Can I zag on that point?
You can.
I think that's why people are off the Patriots a little bit, because I think people are too fixated on the schedule.
Well, but not fixated. It's just what happened.
But I think they're actually a good team, is my point.
We're going to find
they're
out.
13-1 in their last 14.
We're going to find out.
And the Buffalo game, they're up 21. They really could have won their last 14. That's the part I'm confused by. The quarterback's great. They can run the ball and throw the ball, and they're home. And 3.5 is a fair line. I honestly think they should be favored by 4, but what do I know?
It's a playoff debut, though, for him. Do you think that's going to impact him at all, or you think he's just got it?
You know, I went back and I looked to Mahomes. Mahomes had the 0 touchdowns, 0 picks in his first playoff game, which they won, and then had the 37-31 game against the Pats. I haven't seen no defense. Like, if you blitz him, he knows what to do. If you play back in zone, he kind of knows what to do. The only issue with this team is sometimes they start out slow, and there's a scenario where they start out slow. Chargers get the McConkey 35-yard touchdown or whatever. They're playing behind. Can I debunk the Chargers defense for a second? Because the stats are really good for them, and I think people think they're really good. So I'm just going to lay out some stuff here. They played Vegas twice, and they played KC twice. And I don't think, does anyone think KC had a good offense even with Mahomes? They were fine. Like mediocre, not explosive. They couldn't run the ball. Like they were a 500 team. They had 2 games where the best wideout on the other team blew out his ACL in the first half of the game. Neighbors and Tyreek Hill. So there's another 2. They played broken Carson Wentz in Minnesota. They played Tennessee. They played Week 18 Denver when nobody cared. Dallas, Pickens had 130 on him. AJ, that Philly game when Philly was in a coma, AJ still ended up with 100. Sutton had 6 for 118 in the first game. Jacksonville smoked them. Indianapolis smoked them with deep balls and running everything earlier in the season. Washington beat them 27-10. You remember that one, House?
I did.
Multiple big plays. Houston beat them a couple weeks ago, got 2 bombs in the first quarter, and that made the difference. And the only one that you could really make the case their defense was awesome was when they shut down Pittsburgh. But I don't know if their defense is as good as people seem to think it is.
Well, we'll
find out on Sunday night.
That's right. The thing they're good at is limiting explosives. There's a bunch of indicators that say that they don't allow deep passes. I looked
at that, but they've allowed a bunch of them, though. Houston had 2 weeks ago.
That's fine. But across the entire body of the season, they're one of the very best at limiting 20-yard or deeper passes. And that's the thing.
Your white guy on Washington got a 50-yarder on him.
Oh, they're gettable. Don't let don't get it twisted.
I feel like we can get them.
Do you think the weather's going to allow explosive plays? Like
it hasn't seemed to have affected the Pats.
Yeah,
he's going to try and throw deep, no matter what. He doesn't care about the weather.
I mean, I'll give you. Can I walk you through the worst case scenario for this game for the Pats? Ramondre fumble, some sort of dumb special teams thing. Drake has the first half interception that makes everyone go, "Oh God, he's so young."
Well, don't underrate
some big Chargers explosive play.
The hot head coaching candidate is Jesse Minter, the defensive coordinator for the Chargers, right? He's in. I mean, I heard his name come out in connection with Baltimore. This is a referendum, right? This defense, when they've had Derwin James and Khalil Mack this season, it's been a pretty good defense.
Pats are pretty healthy. I'll throw this in too, guys. Everyone's taking the Chargers. This has been like one of the popular. I think the most popular of the 6 for underdog picks has been the Chargers. And I just think people are looking at the Pats schedule. So I like the spot the Pats are in -3.5. There's a prop I like too. Hunter Henry, 30+ receiving yards on FanDuel with the Pats just to win. That's -102. I think Hunter Henry will be heard from in this game. Hampton's hurt. Eduardo, who's a Chargers fan, who I'll probably not be talking to after Sunday night, who works on our podcast with us, reminded me that Hampton got hurt near the end of that last game. Might not be 100%.
Gadsden's fine.
Last thing I'll give you.
How's New England against tight ends?
Guy by the name Mike Vrabel. 5 times, 5 playoff games for him. Played Lamar twice, Tom Brady, Joe Burrow, and Patrick Mahomes in those 5 games. 19.8 points a game in those 5 games for the opponents.
There's some losses in there.
I'm just saying, Mike Vrabel is a good coach, and I don't think he gets mentioned in this.
Harbaugh, good coach.
How many Super Bowls did Harbaugh win? It's the same as Mike Vrabel.
Well, how many Super Bowls has Vrabel been to other than
I'm
as a
taking
player?
Pats minus 3.5. House can fuck off. We'll go to the next
By the
one.
way, the spread, you're wrong. The percentage of bets is 64% for New England. The money is 65% New England. The public is not on New England.
Mm.
That's not what the people in Boston, they think everybody.
Let's roll, baby. Welcome in a loaded, jam-packed Sunday edition of the Ringer Sunday pregame. It is day 2 of Wild Card Weekend. What does Sunday have in store as far as an encore is concerned? Saturday was as good as it gets. Unless, of course, your name is John Jastremski. I'm here in our New York studios. Today's Ringer Sunday pregame show is brought to you by FanDuel, where we are live on the FanDuel Sports Network. Odds subject to change. And fellas, I am still licking my wounds. I am still sick to my stomach that the Packers, which was one of my favorite bets of wildcard weekend, up 21-3 at halftime, lose outright to the Chicago Bears. I have a lot of thoughts on that. We'll get to the Rams and the Panthers, and of course the slate on Sunday. Cousin Sal in Los Angeles, Raheem the Dream Palmer in Las Vegas, Joe House in Washington, D.C. House, I'm starting with you. I should have followed your lead because your first half Packer play ended up being a stroke of genius. I didn't think it was going to matter in the second half. Ben Johnson is coaching games like he's playing Madden. And then all of a sudden, the Packer offense that could do no wrong in the first half was as poorly coached as any offenses you're going to see. The fourth quarter was an absolute disgrace. Then you throw in a shoddy kicker, and then I got to give credit where credit is due. Caleb Williams put the Superman cape on and had a fourth quarter for the ages for the Chicago Bears as they win their first playoff game in a long, long time. House, I'm sick to my stomach.
JJ, come on. It's a new year. I want a new you. Let's get this negativity out of the way. We had 2 unbelievable football games yesterday. Are you kidding me? All of a sudden, wild card weekend, maybe this is what we get now in this age of parity. Maybe we get these amazing games. I mean, we had, the statistical trends say that totals in the mid 40s when you're outdoors, you're supposed to play under. There's, like 75%. These games were just bananas, bonkers. Pure scoring glory. I enjoyed it immensely. Now, of course, the outcome for that Bears-Packers game was distressing because it was ineptitude for a full half of football, and the Packers deserve better. But look, they limped into the playoffs 9-7-1. They had injuries at key positions throughout. None of that excuses the incompetence of their head coach, who, I'm not saying it. Look at Adam Schefter. Look at this. Speculation intensifies on Green Bay Packers potentially firing Matt LaFleur. He would deserve it. That was, to me, gentlemen, a Brandon Staley performance yesterday.
It was a fireable offense to have a 21-3 lead, Raheem, against your hated, bitter division rival where there's clearly no love lost at the moment between LaFleur and Johnson, the Packers and the Bears, and yet that's the script. Raheem, speaking of the script, got to give more credit. You nailed the fact that the second half was going to be the time to buy on the Chicago Bears. But even you, buddy boy, watching that third quarter where it felt like the Packers did everything in their power to let the Bears back in it, still was a 2-score game for most of the fourth quarter. You couldn't have imagined it like that, Dream. Come on, man.
Check your text messages. I just sent you bet tickets of me betting the Bears at plus 675 and plus 440. Check your text messages. It's thousands and thousands of dollars. Look, I was adding more as the game went on because this is what the Bears have done all year long. A lot of people are talking about firing Matt LaFleur. That's crazy. You're not going to get anybody better. He developed Jordan Love. At the end of the day, it's time to give the Chicago Bears some credit because it's not just these teams folding. They're wearing teams down as the game goes on. So let's give the Bears credit because they've done this all year long. Now, with that said, I said it yesterday. I'll say it again today. It's time to start fading the Bears. I want to sell all of that Bears stock We got it to the highest point. Next week, we're going to take the Philadelphia Eagles. You can get that on FanDuel Sportsbook right now before this 49ers game.
Raheem Palmer or Gordon Gekko? I don't know, but he's unloading that stock. Sal, there was another great game between the Carolina Panthers and the Los Angeles Rams. We were dismissive of Carolina's chances, and let's be honest, early in the game when you hit your Puka Nacua not one but 2 touchdown bet that my mom, by the way, tailed from watching the Ringer Sunday pregame.
Wow.
Mama got on board. She was dancing. She goes, Sal nailed it. 2+ touchdowns, Nacua. What a great bet. What a great winner. She likes the long shots. Yeah. Long shot hit, but we almost had the long shot of all long shots. The Rams, this Super Bowl favorite. They were on the ropes inside of 3 minutes to go with that block punt, but survive in advance for the Rams. They live to die another day, and I guess at the end of the day, Sal, that's all that matters.
Listen, if Mom wants to send me, as a token of her gratitude, some linguine and clams, red sauce.
Oh, and it was delightful. I'll get a picture of the meal from yesterday. I'll send it over.
I'll take a picture. I'll take a picture. That's good enough. But yes, that was some game, and I watched it with Simmons, and he's like, oh, boy, that pregame show is going to be something if the Panthers win. I'm like, yeah, it's going to be something because JJ and I aren't showing up. We already said if the Rams lose, we're frauds. And we're
going to be black boxed. Yes, correct.
I get it. They didn't even cover on a 2-team teaser. It was disgusting how they let that up. I don't know what happened. Kudos to the Panthers. And like we see, some of these fraudulent teams playing tough, playing their butts off. But before that, Nacua, I didn't even get to see the Nacua touchdowns. I was driving from the pregame show to Shakey's. There wasn't even a fresh batch of Mojo potatoes on the table before Puka took his second touchdown in. But back to that other game real quick. I took all that Puka money. I put it on the Packers. We can give credit to the Bears defense. Let's just do that because they're going to be overlooked here. They didn't give up a play, a rush of over a yard in that second half. And we can give credit to Raheem Palmer for picking the second half. But son of a bitch, JJ, we should have won that Packers money line too. Both things could happen. And Raheem, I am looking at the text. When the Packers converted that first down, you said game over. So we should have won, JJ. By Raheem's, he may have won. He may have cashed all the money. But everyone thought the Packers had that.
Sometimes you got to send out a little jinx.
Oh, I see what you're
I don't
on.
appreciate that, Raheem. Yeah. I love you very much. I'm happy for you, but I'm not so happy for myself and cousin Sal. And Sal, that's what happens when I give you charity and I give you some great host hospitality because you gave out the 1.5. I said, no, we'll take care of you. We'll give you the money line. I thought maybe it would come into play. Loser across the board. Sorry.
25 points. 25's too many. Let the Bears work their magic, but 25 in the fourth quarter? Come on.
That's LaFleur's fault.
Insanity.
That's
it
LaFleur's
is.
fault.
It is. And by the way, I can't wait till Matt LaFleur and those beautiful eyebrows are patrolling the sidelines in South Florida.
We're criticizing LaFleur too much. At some point,
no, we're not, Raheem. You want to tell me the totality of his career is good? He had an embarrassing game yesterday. That's a legit embarrassing game from that head coach. Embarrassing.
I need the kicker to start making some field goals, and I need Jordan Love.
What kind of nonsensical play calls were those? Running low percentage, deep routes to your wide receivers, or how about the clock management inside the final 4 minutes of the game?
That's the worst.
Listen, if you want to tell me Raheem, he's a good coach, he wins double-digit games every year, he did a good job with Jordan Love, you're well within your rights to do so. That game last night is an embarrassment for Matt LaFleur. Embarrassment.
I'll give you that.
You know why? Also, because it's Ohio State, Michigan. And now this is a rivalry again. These are 3 Bears-Packers games, better than we've seen in the last, 50 years, whatever. These 3. And you can't lose this rivalry. You just can't. And that is why I think he could be on the hot seat. I do think they hold on to him, but who knows? If Schefter's reporting it, maybe I'm wrong.
Well, and if LaFleur is out, you can write it down now. The next head coach of the Green Bay Packers will be John Harbaugh. To me, it's either Matt LaFleur or John Harbaugh coaching that team.
It's not an upgrade, though.
Well, that's a conversation for the week, Raheem, because we got a loaded rest of the show coming your way. Again, I don't know what Sunday will have in store. It's going to be tough to have a crazier encore than what we watched on Saturday night. Hopefully, the game's sticking and I win money. I'll take that. I mean, I'm going to sign for that right here, right now. And here's what we got coming your way. Our family meal later on in the show. We got wise wagers for the triple header on Wild Card Weekend. And gentlemen, we begin with, to me, the juiciest game of the Wild Card Weekend. The Buffalo Bills, who I want to remind everybody, have not won a road playoff game since the 1992 AFC Championship game when Jim Kelly came back from an injury and defeated Dan Marino in, Joe Robbie Stadium at the time?
Yeah.
Well, that's the last time Buffalo won a road playoff game. It's something Josh Allen has not done. The Buffalo Bills are now 1.5-point underdogs against arguably the hottest team in the NFL. Liam Cohen, Trevor Lawrence, and the very trendy and the all of a sudden very popular Jacksonville Jaguars. Sal, there's a certain narrative that is drumming up a lot of people who were not on the bandwagon for most of this regular season have now found themselves on the bandwagon for the Jaguars. You and I, we were on the bandwagon at the beginning of the year. We took the Jaguars plus 300 to win the division. Now, here we stand, wildcard weekend. Crazy to think about, though. Jacksonville laying points to a team that we had as favorites to win the Super Bowl. Buffalo on the road for multiple playoff games. That's going to be their script if they're lucky enough to win this particular game. You start off the proceedings. Lines at 1.5. Crazy high total. Who you got, Sally boy?
1.5 in favor of the Jags now, right? They're favored. This was a tic-tac number, and it just switched this morning. And I'm taking a big swing early here, JJ, and picking against America's favorite quarterback, Joshua Steinfeld Allen. Josh, in the road playoff games, you talked about it, JJ. 0-4 straight up. 0-4 against the spread. What were you, 2-3 years old back in that that game against when they went to Joe Robbie?
I was
beat him?
4 or 5 years
right,
old.
you don't
Hold on.
remember.
If it was 92 season, 93, yeah, it was almost 5 years old.
Good for you for not being able to remember that. That was a terrible one.
I can't do math. I went to Syracuse. Remember
that. That's okay. Home team zone now, JJ, 18-8 against the spread in the wild card round. But I'm taking Jacksonville not plus 1.5, not minus 1.5, but minus 6.5 adjusted. And I don't even really think Trevor Lawrence has to have a gangbusters game for this to happen. I think the number one run defense is going to handle James Cook, who's really run this Bills offense, honestly. This is going to create a lot of third and longs and throw Allen off his game. Meanwhile, at the end, should gash the Bills' run defense, which we know is not good. 28th in the league. I think they allow 136 a game average. And for those of you that think the Bills don't have it in them to lose by a score or more, sure they do. They've done it against lesser teams than the Jags. They lost by 10 to the Falcons and by 17 to, cover your ears, JJ, the Miami Dolphins this year. I'm way too confident in this one. Let's give it a score, JJ. Bills 14, Jaguars 30.
Whoa,
Let's go with
beatdown in Northern Florida. And you got to wonder if it's a beatdown of that proportion. Are we putting Sean McDermott, the head coach of the Buffalo Bills, dare I say, on the hot seat?
Maybe
I like it, Sal. Gutsy right out of the gate. How's first half for the Packer-Bear game worked out well for you? Is that the script that we are looking for in this particular game, or no, we're feeling a full game bet?
Yeah, JJ, I like the Jaguars in the full game scenario, but the way that I'm playing this is another first half bet. Go ahead and lay 1.5 in the first half. Jacksonville has been outstanding in first halves all season long, averaging over 18 points. And this is for Buffalo, the best team they will have faced. They only played one top 10 DVOA opponent all season long. That was Houston. This Jacksonville team exceeds Houston because of how potent it is on the offensive side of the ball. And they have, with Liam Cohen and the emergence of Parker Washington, in addition to the acquisition of Jacoby Meyer, an offense that now has multiplicity. The Bears want you to throw. The Bears, what about the Bills? The Bills want you to throw. The Bills want you to throw because their pass defense is decent, although they do have a rookie cornerback who is out today. The thing they are bad at is defending the run, and Jacksonville hasn't really been very potent running the football over the latter half of the season, but they haven't really needed to because they're getting out to these leads with the script with Cohen and just taking care of business. So I am playing Jacksonville just to the first half. I think, our instincts yesterday were basically right. A lot of us thought that it was too many points for the Rams to be laying 10.5. Some of us didn't trust Green Bay to get the game all the way across the goal line. I don't really want to be on the opposite side of Josh Allen if he just goes into Josh Allen mode in the second half of this game. So let me go ahead and grab the Jags in the first half here.
First half bet for you, Dream. Second half, Bears treated you well. You're going up against big bad Josh Allen, this wide open AFC playoff field, and he is the dude. He's the best player in the sport, but it's a red hot Jacksonville team. Tough game. To me, it was the hardest game to handicap all week. What's your feel? What's your play on the game?
So I don't necessarily think this game is that difficult to handicap. I mean, when I'm looking at my model, like I have Jacksonville well ahead. Like I think, Jacksonville should probably be like -3 in this game. But obviously Josh Allen is on the other side, and that's what's keeping this number like deflated. So, I mean, obviously normally I probably would play the full game, but I think the first half is a better isolation. You look at the Jags in the first half, 11-6 straight up and against the spread. Meanwhile, the Bills, they get off to slow starts. They're 7-9 straight up and 5-12 against the spread in the first half. Meanwhile, if you isolate the Bills to the second half, they're 12-3-2 straight up and 12-5 against the spread in the second half. The biggest thing for me is that this Jags team, they're like night and day before and after Jacoby Myers. I mean, it's like before Christ and after the death at this point in time, because you got a team who they're top 10 in EPA per play and explosive plays, and they're putting up 32 points per game. And you could say, oh, that was against some bad competition. Well, they put up 29 points against the Texans, Chargers, and Broncos. Those are some of the best defenses in the league. And we know that this Bills defense isn't very good at all. Like they're 17th in EPA per play without turnover since week 10 and 20th in overall DVOA. And they're 31st against the run. So the Jaguars should be able to run the ball, but also the Bills, they funnel passes to the running back. So I think Travis Etienne should have like a big day in terms of running and catching the ball. So I think there's lots of ways for the Jaguars to attack this Buffalo Bills defense, and the Jaguars defense is playing pretty well. So I think they get off to a fast start. They have a lead. I don't want to have to sweat out the second half. So let's go Jags first half.
Fellas, you all make compelling cases for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And it seems like Jacksonville, who nobody wanted to take, who wasn't exactly a team that I would dare say is trendy, has become incredibly trendy over the course of the last 5 days. Here's the bottom line for me in this game. I see everybody on the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I see on the other sideline the best quarterback in the sport. It is a legacy-defining period for Josh Allen. And at the end of the day here, I am going to be more than happy to donate my hard-earned American dollars betting on the best quarterback in football. And if he loses in Northern Florida, I can accept it. I can deal with it. So be it. This wide-open AFC, Josh Allen, Jacksonville, I think he goes and puts the Superman cape on. I know every metric and every analytical fact will tell you to go and take the Jacksonville Jaguars. Can't fight you guys on that. What I can fight you on is I like my quarterback a lot more than the Jaguar quarterback. And you know what? Sometimes that can be the difference in these games. Josh Allen puts the Superman cape on. Bills win their first road playoff game since 1992. Give me Buffalo. Nobody wants them. I can't stand them. I'm taking him this week.
Question for you. Are we sure he's healthy?
I like the fact, Raheem, that he got a full week off against the New York Jets a week ago. Shoot him up. Maybe get him to Kobe's doctor, and away we go. Big Josh, don't let me down. Everybody's taking the Jaguars this week. Not so fast. We're going the other way. All right, speaking of player props, Josh Allen in this game, here to me is the way to look at this one. The Jaguar run defense is tremendous. It's been outstanding all year. That means Josh Allen's going to have to throw the football a little bit more. I'm seeing over 1.5 passing touchdowns, basically at even money, a total in the low 50s, so you're going to have a bunch of points here. I'm going to take a shot. I don't think it's much of a shot for what it's worth, that Josh Allen is going to have a big day in the air and is going to have to execute to the likes of Knox and Kincaid and Shakir. And maybe he throws one to James Cook for all we know. Over 1.5 passing touchdowns for Josh Allen. -102 sounds like a winner. Sal, how you playing a player prop?
I don't mind that, JJ, especially if the script goes to plan where James Cook gets bottled up and, Bills are behind at half and he has to throw. You don't want anyone in there in that situation more than Josh Allen. I'm going to go Brian Thomas Jr., longest reception, over 20.5 yards. Brian Thomas, by the way, I thought would thrive in his sophomore season opposite rookie Travis Hunter. That's why I picked him to win the division, and they weren't exactly the dynamic duo. We didn't even get to see Hunter. But how about this? Brian Thomas Jr. has gone over 20.5 yards as the longest reception in 7 straight home games. 7. Isn't that insane? Anyone who had him in fantasy and correctly decided to bench him after like week 5 or 6 thinks that's insane, but it's absolutely true. We're going to ride that one. Lots of focus on Jacoby Myers and making sure Travis at the end doesn't embarrass them will open up an opportunity, I think, for Thomas to make a big play. So let's go over 20.5 longest reception for number 8 in a row at home.
Okay, House, we've spent a lot of time talking about Josh Allen. There's another quarterback in this game who's back in the postseason. Trevor Lawrence running the football. Is that the way you're looking to attack a player prop?
Yeah, I like these playoff situations where quarterbacks who are comfortable running tend to take off. They run more in these must-win situations. And Lawrence has been incredible this season, both scrambling and running. Ran for 360 yards, 9 touchdowns. This Bills defense is 29th in rushing yards given up to quarterbacks. So Trevor Lawrence over 25.5 total rushing yards. Over the last 4 weeks, he's at over 5 yards per rush, 4 rushing touchdowns, and he's managed a first down or touchdown on 62% of his 21 carries over this window. So if it ain't broke, let's just keep running it. Over 25.5 for Trevor Lawrence.
Like the sound of that. And you're going to hear a theme a little bit later on in the show when it comes to quarterbacks using their legs and kind of unleashing it in these winner-go-home scenarios. Dream, I gave out a Josh Allen player prop. You got one as well. You're thinking about Josh Allen maybe running the football.
Oh, most definitely. I'm going with Josh Allen over 7.5 rushing attempts. You said it. Look, these quarterbacks who can run the ball, they're going to throw caution to the wind. It's time to win. We're not going to sit back. We're not going to, take knees. We're not going to do any of all that. We're running if we have an opportunity to run. So Josh Allen, he's cleared this number in 9 out of 13 postseason games. And look, they're going to unleash him. So that's what it is. Like when it comes to the playoffs, I'm playing 2 types of props. I'm playing quarterback running props and I'm playing kicker props. And I got a kicker prop later. So that's how it's going down.
I love it's playoff time. You know it's playoff time when Dream is getting back in the lab. The only problem for Dream is Harrison Butker and the Chiefs are eliminated this year because that was like the gift that kept on giving. Harrison Butker over field goals, Harrison Butker over props. Yes. Unfortunately, you got to find a new guy this year. That's all.
Cairo.
Yeah, we had the Cairo prop yesterday, so that was good.
Well, as long as you didn't have Brandon McManus field goal props, you were in good shape, What a disgrace. Don't get me started. All right, boys, we're moving on to the mid-game in the Sunday window. The San Francisco 49ers, who yucked up their chance at being the 1 seed last Saturday. They're getting 5.5 points in Philadelphia against the defending champs. The total in this game is at 44.5. And this, to me, is another one of these games. I can't find anybody who likes the Niners. Can't find a soul. And the line has moved accordingly, Sal, because it was in the 3.5 range. Then it went to 4. Then it went to 4.5. Then it went to 5, 5.5. Got as high as 6. Then finally maybe got a little bit of buyback on the Niners at that particular point. We know the Eagle offense, incredibly broken. We also know the Niner defense, whole lot of injuries, depleted, mass unit, side, total. How are we going to attack the Niner-Eagle game that was a rematch of an NFC title game from 2 years ago?
Yeah, and that's when Purdy got injured, and we couldn't see the rest of that play out. Yeah, I'm going total here, JJ. I try to attack this. If we had rat lines today, if we were going through all that stuff, I might designate this one as the rat line, moving all the way to 5.5. Couldn't figure out a teaser or how to play this, so going to go under 44.5, sorry. The under is hit in 6 of the last 9 49ers games against top 10 defenses. On the offensive side, McCaffrey had trouble getting going versus Seattle last week. I expect the same. This Eagles defense is legit, especially against tight ends. Lowest passer rating to tight ends this year. So tough night for Kittle also. And on the other side, the Philly offense, almost always super sleepy to start, and now might be a little rusty, having been off a couple weeks. They took last week off. 22.3 points per game is the fewest in the Nick Sirianni era. And really, throw out the Washington and Raiders game, Philly was averaging 16 points a game of offense down the stretch. So I'm seeing this as a 21-16 type game. 21-16 or 17? House, you want to say 16 or 17? What do you call it? I don't care. What is it?
16's freakier, so let's go that way.
16's my wife's birthday, so go with that.
21-16 final. There you go, under.
Raheem, you've hinted at the fact that there's a certain play you already want to make for the divisional round. Therefore, you have kind of given away who you like in this particular game. I know it. The audience knows it. Why are the Eagles, in your opinion, going to go and lay the smackdown?
Okay, so I initially had the under. I gave out the under 46.5 on Monday. That's now down to 44. And I like the Eagles in this matchup. And a big reason why is because you look at this Eagles defense. They're top 5 in EPA per play and success rate, and they rush the passer. And you look at the 49ers, like they played the Seahawks last week, and they struggled to score. This Seahawks defense is like the Eagles defense is no different from the Seahawks defense, if you ask me. And it might be a tougher place to play in Philadelphia, like, to be honest with you. So I look at the 49ers. They just have so many injuries, and they just played essentially a playoff game last week. Trent Williams is banged up. Ricky Pearsall is banged up. And then if you look at the defense is absolutely abysmal. They have the 4th worst defensive success rate at 54%, and they have no pass rush. They are 30th in pressure rate, or just a 30% pressure rate over the last 12 games of the season, and they can't get to the quarterback. No Nick Bosa, no Fred Warner. I just think this is a spot where the Eagles should be able to win this by double digits. This is big boy football right now. Like, this is not, West Coast soft football, whatever you're seeing out there in USC or whatever you see. Like, this is not that. This is big boy football in the cold, and I just think the Eagles are going to run all over them, dominate the trenches on both sides of the field. So I'm going to lay the 5.5. That this was 3.5, but I think you could probably lay this up to 6 and be fine.
House, smelling a parlay. You're feeling a parlay.
Mm-hmm.
Make the case for how you'd correlate maybe a side and a total in this game.
Yeah, I'm grabbing pieces from the scripts of both the Cuz and Raheem. I'll just start with this. I hate this Eagles team. They're what they do on the offensive side of the ball is absolutely offensive. And it does not translate into anything that looks like normal offense. I'm not doing anything in terms of laying numbers with that garbage offense. The defense is dominant, and I feel like the offense has been letting down that defense for the latter half of this season. I hate betting the Eagles, to be honest with you. So all I'm doing is taking the Eagles' money line and the under. I think this game plays out script-wise very similar in the manner that the Cuz described to the way that Seattle handled and dispatched San Francisco. We're at the point of no return with the injuries for San Francisco. They're not only banged up, on the offensive line, but they have 3 of their starting linebackers that are either out or severely hampered. I mean, the Eagles should do what Dream just described, which is go ahead, dominate the trenches, go win this game by 21 points. But the Eagles don't do that. That's not what they do this season. They mess around. They push the food around the plate. Jalen Hurts misses every single completion in the second half. So I'm not messing with a number. Just a simple parlay. Eagles win and under 44.5. And it's a plus 140 play in the FanDuel Sportsbook.
How's fascinating, because I'm going to give you a parlay on the side and the total. And we are simpatico for the reasons we all love the under in this game. The Eagle defense is stupendous. They are an unbelievable unit, yada, yada, yada. However, this Eagle offense cannot be trusted to go and lay margin. You can't do it. Based upon what? They couldn't execute a first down in the game against Buffalo a couple weeks ago. What? They get right against the Washington Commanders and the Vegas Raiders from an offensive standpoint? I don't see it. I also look at San Francisco. They're going to get Trent Williams back. And I'm going to give you the script of the game we saw on Black Friday where the Chicago Bears ran successfully against the Eagle defense. I think there's a pathway to San Francisco with Christian McCaffrey being able to go and run against the Eagle defense. So here's what I'm thinking. Give me 5.5 points. I think this game is within the margin. I think the Niners are a team that has a lot of pride, and they'll find a way to keep it close. And I don't trust the Eagle defense, or the Eagle offense, I should say, to go and lay the smackdown. I'm sorry. I just don't. Let's take the Niners, who nobody wants to take this week, to keep this game within reason. And then we have a total at 44.5. Let's play the under. That's a parlay that's a little over 2-1. Sal, I'm showing some love here. I'm playing your under, but I'm going heads up with my guy Dream just because I don't trust the Eagle offense. Simple as that.
No, you can't. It's not the same offense that House, now you cover yours, put up 50-plus against Washington in the playoffs last year. I just don't think that's where we are with this team. That said, though, I'm going to go with a player prop here. Are you ready for this? I mean, it goes against what I'm saying, but I'm going to go Barkley, longest rush, 17.5. Let's go over. I think eventually he's going to break a tackle to give Philly a lead at some point. It's night and day this year and last year. If you look at Barkley, he had 17 rushes of 20-plus yards. This year he has only 4. But over his last 4, he has started cooking. He averaged 100 yards a game on the ground. Last 2 games, 2 Seattle rushers and 2 Bears rushers went for 18 or more for longest against San Francisco. So Saquon's going to Saquon in a good way at some point. And Lane Johnson, I think he's a game-time decision. If he plays, that's a bonus. Barkley would have an 18-yard run or longer, minus 118.
Saquon going to Saquon. House, you're feeling a Saquon prop. Even though he did you dirty for that anytime touchdown a couple of weeks ago, you're going back to the well, but in a different way.
Yeah, I mean, the game script is supposed to be Saquon early, Saquon often. This Eagles offense should be able to run the ball. They got Saquon 100 yards each of the last 4 games. So I'm playing him over 19.5 attempts, rush attempts, because that's the script that keeps the Eagles from going blow to blow with Purdy and this dynamic Niners offense, even though that dynamic Niners offense is up against one of the best defenses in the league. You don't want to be in a shootout kind of situation, I don't think. So it's Barkley getting the touches. The 49ers, when they go up against a team that has a top 10 team defense, that's the Eagles, they allow a ton of running back rush attempts because those teams with good defenses tend to have the inclination to just try and run the game out. The Niners have been giving up a lot of rushes in that context. That's the way the Eagles are supposed to win this football game. Over 19.5 rush attempts for Saquon.
Dream, you teased it, baby. Field goal prop, and you mentioned the fact that this game is being played at home. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing for the Eagles because that crowd will turn on them so fast, despite the fact that they are reigning, defending Super Bowl champions. When what you bring to the table as this prop is concerned comes to the moonlight, Raheem, the folks in Philadelphia don't want to see Jake Elliott running out there, but you do because it's going to be good for your wallet.
Look, I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles. 2+ made field goals, minus 160. The juice is a little bit heavy, but I think it's that way for a reason. I know Jake Elliott's been a little bit shaky this year. He hasn't been as consistent, but I think the volume of opportunities that this San Francisco 49ers defense should provide it should allow us to get there. And you look at the 49ers over the last 3 weeks. Well, take away the Seahawks game. They gave up 24 to the Titans. They gave up 27 to old man Phillip Rivers, 38 to the Chicago Bears. This 49ers defense is not good at all. Like, the Philadelphia Eagles are going to have plenty of opportunities to score. And I think, obviously we talk about the struggles of the Philadelphia Eagles offense, but that's better for us in this situation where we're looking for 2 field goals because that means that we're just hoping 2 drives stall out. So I think the Eagles, they have 8 or 9 drives. I think they can get 2 field goals here. So they'll be getting some touchdowns as well. But 2+ made field goals, -160. That's one of my favorite props for this game.
So don't get me wrong, boys. The Eagle offense has a whole lot of problems and has been underwhelming throughout the course of this regular season. When we get to playoff time, yeah, I know the Eagles have A.J. Brown. Yeah, I know they have Devontae Smith and Saquon Barkley. There's a certain guy that Jalen Hurts tends to find in these postseason games. You know what his name is, Sal? Dallas Goedert. You're right. Yeah. I can't take Mike Gesicki. Mike Gesicki's sitting at home with me watching the postseason. I can take Dallas Goedert to go and get 40-plus receiving yards in this game because what I think you're going to see is the Eagles, hey, A.J. Brown's covered. Devontae Smith's covered. Niner defense selling out to the idea of shutting down Saquon Barkley. Linebackers incredibly weak for the Niners without Fred Warner. 40-plus receiving yards for Dallas Goedert. Even money. Sign me up right now. That will be a winner in the second game of the Wild Card Sunday triple-header. We got a lot more coming your way in this loaded edition of the Ringer Sunday pregame. Chargers, Patriots. Is there going to be a family play for that game? The family meal is still to come. We're coming right back.
Bills at Jaguars. Jaguars are 1.5-point home dogs. You start us off. I can't wait because I can't decide on this game. I change my mind every 30 seconds. So I want to see where you're going with it. What is your headline or storyline that's going to come out of this game?
When I was writing my playoff predictions and trying to get to my Super Bowl, I really do think I flipped it like 3 or 4 times. But to start with the Bills, I'm choosing chaos this postseason. Just like how we've had a lot of chaos in the regular season. The Chiefs aren't in it. Jared Goff and the Lions are out. No Lamar Jackson. No Joe Burrow. It's been a crazy regular season. I think that maintains in the playoffs. My headline, Bills fire Sean McDermott. Zero in on John Harbaugh. That's coming in next week. And now I don't know if this is going to happen. I think there's a really good chance the Bills win this game too. But just throw the chaos out there. John Harbaugh is not interviewing with teams until next week. There's been little breadcrumbs of reporting, little shots of reporting that the Buffalo Bills with Sean McDermott and the Green Bay Packers with Matt LaFleur, which I don't really understand. I understand the McDermott one more than I understand the LaFleur one. Me too. But there's been reporting that maybe they're interested in Harbaugh now that he's become available. And if they do lose this week, maybe they're starting to look at it. I'm just throwing this into the mix that if the Bills go into this one, a playoffs where there's no Mahomes, everyone said it, there's no Mahomes, there's no Burrow, there's no Jackson. This is Allen's time to shine. This is his Super Bowl to go take. And I know they're going to be on the road because they're the 5th seed. And I do think they're running into a buzzsaw with this Jacksonville Jaguars team. It's won 8 in a row. They're playing the best football of their lives. Cohen Lawrence looks like an absolute home run. The defense is really good, specifically in the front 7. And the Bills, I think, have holes everywhere outside of kind of how they've been able to run the football with this, 2-3 tight end sets. And obviously Josh Allen being the super hope, but he's banged up. The defense is banged up. They can't stop the run. It's a tough matchup. Going to Jacksonville, I think they could lose this one. Now, do they fire McDermott? Who knows? I'm kind of throwing it crazy out there. But if they lose this game and Harbaugh's not interviewing, I don't know. I think there's going to be serious consideration.
Listen, I think it's in play with McDermott because it kind of is like the Harbaugh situation. I mean, these 2 teams came into the season and they're at that horrible spot where if you're a fan, you want to enjoy every week, but you're kind of like, we have to win the Super Bowl this year. We have to win the Super Bowl. We haven't gotten to the Super Bowl. We have a great quarterback. We haven't gotten there. And that's the situation they've both been in. And for Josh Allen and the Bills, it's like he might have more at stake than any other player in the playoffs, I think. Because I was thinking about this earlier. And I don't even know if it's fair because the team around him is probably the weakest team he's had in Buffalo, I would argue. And yet these other guys are out of the playoffs. And so it's like, can you beat Trevor Lawrence? Can you beat Bo Nix? I know it's not quarterback versus quarterback. I understand it, but you know what the narratives are going to be here. And so he's got a lot at stake here. He's got to feel like he's got a great chance. We know the Bills want to run the football. Jaguars are very good at stopping the run. And then the other side of the
Welcome back to the loaded Sunday Ringer Sunday pregame for day 2 of Wild Card Weekend. Josh Jastremski, Cousin Sal, Joe House, and Raheem Palmer. We hit on 2 of the games in this triple header. We have a nightcap to get to. We have a Monday night game to get to. And boys, the Chargers and the Patriots, fascinating game. Drake May, Justin Herbert, Jim Harbaugh, Mike Vrabel. Line has not moved, and it has not budged off of 3.5. Now, Joe House, I'm going to start the proceedings with you on this game because we did East Coast bias on Monday. You made a pick. Then I see a Ringer 107 graphic. Your pick was not featured. It was not a part of the festivities for our wonderful contest. You have a chance to set the record straight one more time. Your partner in Ringer 107 may have denied you this particular pick, but you're not going to have such a denial here on the Ringer Sunday pregame. Chargers, Patriots, who you got, House?
Yeah, I think this line is too high. I think 3.5 for the Patriots as home favorites in this situation is just too big a number. And look, the whole point of the Ringer 107, it was a collaborative effort. Everybody got to have their say. Everybody made their case. And there had to be some way to make a decision about whose point of view was going to prevail. I happen to be paired with the Podfather, and guess what? That man right there is the boss. So
I understand
whatever he says, that's what we do. I think inside the X's and O's, this Chargers team is extremely live, not only to cover this 3.5, but to win this game outright. I've been very impressed with how tough they are, especially on defense. Their pass defense is 4th in the NFL by EPA, and they didn't play a bunch of chumps. They played a top 13 schedule of opposing quarterbacks. Drake May and this New England Patriots offense has been dynamic, fantastic. At MVP level for Drake May, all explosives. They live in deep passes, deep balls, 20 yards or more. Well, that happens to be a particular strength of this Chargers defense. 4th lowest rate of explosive passes, and I think they're number 1 in the league in passes of 20 yards or more. So I think X's and O's wise, I love the idea of Gadsden in the middle of this field, the tight end against this New England linebacker core. They're slow. They leave the middle of the field open. I think Omarion Hampton's coming in. He said he's healthy. They're going to try and establish the run. I know that this offensive line for the Packers, it's been established. The Chargers, it's been established, beat up, but New England doesn't put pressure on the quarterback anyhow. So I think Herbert will have his pick of who he wants to throw the ball to. Chargers plus 3.5 is my favorite angle on this one.
House, I don't like it. I absolutely love it. I am right there with you. Give me the Chargers, not only plus the 3.5. Give me the Chargers outright to go and win this game. Let's talk about how battle-tested this Charger team may be. This is a team that played a very tough schedule, played the Broncos twice, played Mahomes twice, beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Then you compare it to New England that played the definition of, as Dickie V likes to say, Cupcake City, baby, throughout the course of this year. All of a sudden now, New England, despite the fact that Drake May is amazing, despite the fact that Mike Vrabel is an incredible head coach, laying 3.5, to me, this is the wrong number here. I think the Charger defense is not getting enough credit. They get after the quarterback. They're physical in the secondary. Jesse Minter, to me, is auditioning for his next head coaching job, which I think he's going to get in this coaching cycle. And I see too many vulnerabilities within the Patriots from a defensive standpoint. I don't trust their offensive line. And I don't think they will get off on the explosive plays the way they have for most of this season. They're not playing the Miami Dolphins. They're not playing the New York Jets. And Justin Herbert, 3rd playoff game. Jim Harbaugh, 2nd playoff game with the Chargers. All the nerds, they drool Justin Herbert. I'm coming after you, nerds, if the Chargers don't go win this game. I don't want the drool fest for Justin Herbert if he throws 3 or 4 interceptions like he did a year ago against the Houston Texans. I think the nerds will have some vindication, though. I'm siding with you. Don't let me down, nerds. Chargers plus 3.5. Raheem, 2 for 2. Can we make it 3 for 3 on the Chargers?
Well, yes, we can. I got to shout out House for this because he actually convinced me of this on Monday. But look, we have this stat, and we listed it yesterday. First-time playoff quarterbacks versus non-first-time quarterbacks are 19-38 straight up and 19-37-1 against the spread since 2002. I know that trend went 0-2 yesterday, but I think this is going to change that back in our favor here. Look, you want to take a guess on how many teams with the winning record the Patriots have played this year, it's only been 2.
Yeah.
And it's been both of their matchups against the Buffalo Bills, who are in their division. So this is a huge step up in class. I mean, you look at some of the quarterbacks that they've faced this year. Like, you got to remember, the Patriots lost to Geno Smith in week 1, and they haven't played a great slate of opposing quarterbacks. You're talking about Josh Allen and one half of Lamar Jackson. So Justin Herbert is easily one of the best quarterbacks on your schedule. You guys broke down how the Patriots, they generate a ton of explosive plays, and the Chargers, they limit them. That's a big thing here. So the Patriots, I mean, the Chargers, they struggle against the run, but the Patriots aren't a good running team. So look, I just think the Chargers, it's time for them to finally break through in the Justin Herbert era. Justin Herbert is 0-2 in postseason games. He's looking for his first win. I think that may come today, but look, the line is 3.5. We know games land on 15% of the time. I think this is probably a 3-point game either way. So I'm taking the Chargers plus 3.5.
I like it, Raheem, although I must admit the trend as far as the first-time playoff quarterback felt a lot better yesterday, considering I bet against both first-time playoff quarterbacks.
Oh, yeah, one more thing. I forgot. I like the over in this matchup too. Over 45 and over 45 and a half. I think there's going to be a lot of points in this game. I think even though the Chargers, they limit explosives, I think the Patriots are capable of, dinking and dunking their way down the field. And I think the Chargers are going to be able to score some points against this Patriots defense. So I like the over. So I like those plays about equal. So, I mean, if you want to put 50% on one and 50% on the other and hope for I think you get a split at worst.
Fair enough. Remember, both of those first-time playoff quarterbacks in Saturday's game, Bryce Young, Caleb Williams, both covered the number. Not ideal for me. Okay, Sal, you will be doing a certain podcast later on this evening with a Patriot fan that we know and we all love. How is he going to feel that 3 of us right now have lined up already to go and bet the Chargers? And are you about to make it 4 for 4 and the complete sweep? I'm dying to know.
Well, listen, I just think the 4 of us are too close to Simmons to really have an objective opinion on this matchup here, especially me and House getting elbowed out of his 107 pick because Simmons is a Patriots fan. I watched the Rams game with a couple Patriots fans yesterday. These massholes are unbearable. This is the matchup they wanted. We don't want to play Houston. We don't want to play Buffalo in the first round. We want to play the Chargers. We got him. Drake May. Every time Stafford dropped back the pass, he didn't even get rid of the ball. Like, that Drake May would have run for 14 yards there. Drake May would have done this. Enough is enough is enough. Roger Goodell, to your point, JJ goes and fixes this and puts this on the Sunday night slot to coincide with Simmons' Netflix debut. So Goodell's probably not going to let the Patriots lose, especially now that we all have the Chargers. There you go. I'll say it. Lots of trend choices here. But JJ, like you said, the virgin playoff quarterbacks, 2-0 against the spread right now heading into Sunday. I think this is a close game. Last team with the ball wins. Drake maybe is going to turn it over a bit against a secondary that, like you guys said, doesn't allow big plays. The O-line's a mess for the Chargers. We didn't talk about that. They've gone through like 10 guys and 3 women, I think. But overall, I think this is a good spot for Herbert. In his career, 18-12-1 against the spread as an underdog, 14-6 against the spread on the road. As an underdog of 3 or more, he's 13-6-1 as a starter. ATS. Last score wins 23-21, I'll say. Maybe that's slightly under. And I might be watching Stranger Things while Simmons gloats here, but I'm going to take the points.
One thing I want to say, and I have to be honest about this. I have one model that has this game Patriots minus 3.13, and I have another model that has this game Patriots minus 5.86.
Hold on, let me write this down.
So that doesn't, crazy. I mean, it doesn't necessarily make me feel good to, fade my model, at least one of my models. But I think ultimately it's tough to model certain things when you have one team playing a poor schedule and the other team playing a tougher schedule. Right. So sometimes you throw the numbers out, but if this loses, then it is what it is.
Boys, let's get to player props. We mentioned the idea of the quarterback and how the running quarterback in playoff games wants to use his legs, dare I say, a little bit more. I'm going to try to take advantage of that. Justin Herbert and Drake May. I'm going to parlay the 2 of them. Herbert at 25-plus rushing yards. May at 20-plus rushing yards. You take the 2 of them, smack them together at plus 147. not asking a whole lot. Chargers shaky on the offensive line. Justin Herbert, despite that wrist injury, he's got no problem using his legs. And Drake May in his first playoff game, House, reeks of a quarterback that will use his legs that much more. I really like this one. I've already parlayed it. Maybe boost it up if you're feeling frisky on the FanDuel Sportsbook. That's my player prop for this one. What do you got, dude?
Yeah, JJ, I love this. Why don't you just grab Trevor Lawrence? I mean, you can put all 4 quarterbacks in, although I don't think you want to do anything with C.J. Stroud or Aaron Rodgers.
No, I'll pass on those two.
Yeah,
I will.
Let's get some parlays going with these quarterbacks running. I am going to a running back on the New England Patriots, but not for the purpose of establishing the run. I like Ramondre Stevenson over 14.5 total receiving yards. Since he came back from injury, his roles flipped with Travion Henderson. Stevenson is more trusted in pass protection, so he's become the receiving running back. 138 pass snaps over the last 5 games. Henderson's only been out there for 58, and Stevenson has at least 22 receiving yards in each game over that span. So Chargers tough on running backs through the air, but also they're tough on running backs running the football. Patriots are going to use Drake May, that MVP arm of his, and Stevenson has been getting nearly 20% of catch share. So I like him getting 2 or 3 catches and getting to 15 yards without too much trouble.
All right, you're on Ramondre Stevenson. Raheem, Chargers need a security blanket for Justin Herbert. Ladd McConkey going to be that guy?
Oh, most definitely. Let's go over 3.5 receptions. I don't know if you guys remember in last year's postseason game, he had 14 targets, 9 receptions, 197 yards. So 3.5 feels short when you consider that he's going over this in 11 out of 16 games this season. And look, when it's time for the playoffs, the big boys step up. They're going against the Patriots defense, which is bottom of the league in defensive DVOA. So we know he's going to get his targets. We know he's going to get his receptions. Let's go over 3.5 receptions for Ladd McConkey.
Like the sound of that, Raheem. 3 down, 1 to go. Sal, you have targeted a receiver for the New England Patriots.
Yes, I'm going to take a Pats player prop because I'm very fond of this guy, and I'll get to why in a second. Kayshon Boutte, 50-plus receiving yards. That pays plus 240. Now, he had a nice stretch in October. He had 3 games over 50 yards. He had 4 such games on the year. The DVOA has the Chargers' 22nd best defense. I don't know. You can go over that whichever way you want, but who cares about any of that? This week, Kayshon Boutte wrote an essay for some magazine, and here's what he said about his time at LSU. He said, I'd wake up early in the morning. First thing I would do is bet. I'd stay up late, and I'd bet. All day, all night. I had insomnia, so if I woke up in the middle of the night, phone next to the bed, I'd bet. Any little money I had was going straight to FanDuel. He mentioned FanDuel. Did our very own Raheem Morris, Raheem, did you go
Raheem Morris?
Raheem, no.
You tell me we're going to have a new member on the Ring of Gambling show next year? Is this news to me?
Yes, we are going to have a new member on the gambling show, and it's going to be Kayshon Boutte. I mean, this guy is a gambler, and now easily my favorite Patriot of all time. I give it under 3.5 years before he joins us on this pod show. I'm betting him to receive 50-plus yards. Hopefully he's not betting the other way, plus 240.
Well, best of luck to you on that. One more note on this game. House, Chargers, plus 460 to make it to the conference championship. I like them in this spot. You like them in this spot. We've been waiting to fade the Denver Broncos. Herbert's already beaten the Broncos this year. Can I get you on board with a plus 460 ticket on the Chargers?
I like that. I'm not going to put a ton of money on it, but that's a great matchup. Peyton against Harbaugh. And, the Chargers were just there. They didn't show them hardly anything. I think this Chargers defense is built to travel. That's a good one for me, JJ. I like it.
If you like the Chargers in this game, I think it's worth the sprinkle at plus 460. I'm just throwing it out there. We got one more game to get to, boys. Monday night, the Houston Texans going into Pittsburgh. The never say die Steelers. The Steelers, who look dead to rights as Mr. Luke was about to kick a field goal, send the Ravens to the playoffs. Wide right. No, Bills fans know a thing or two about wide right. Anyway, Texans, road favorites in this game. Line opened very briefly at 2.5. Got to 3. Got to 3.5. Immediately got bet down. All the Steeler money came in. And Sal, All of a sudden now, a Steeler team that looked like they had no business being in the playoffs after they lost outright to the Cleveland Browns in Week 17 has become a popular play and has become a trendy play for the nightcap on Monday, the final game of Wild Card Weekend. How are you going to play Texans and Steelers?
Yeah, you never really want to make a pick on a game based on games you saw yesterday or with a vibe or anything like that. That's what you get. That is anti-model, I would say, for Raheem, right? I mean, but I would say, in my mind, there were three fraudulent teams in these playoffs on different levels. The Panthers, the Bears, and the Steelers. And we saw the Panthers and we saw the Bears, and there was no, we're just happy to be here moment. Maybe the first half or so, there was that. But they played hard. And I think the Steelers are going to do the same. And not to mention, the number 4 AFC seed has been the best home betting option of the 4 choices, going 13-7 straight up and 14-6 against the spread over the last 20 years. We saw it with the Texans at home versus the Chargers last year, right? Texans not as great as they were in November. 1-score games for Texans each of the last 3 games. 2 of them were against Riley Leonard and whoever the Raiders, I guess it was Geno Smith at the time. I think Pittsburgh will run enough with success. Let's take the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers to advance, and may the ayahuasca gods help us if they win again after that. I'm taking the points here.
Taking the points. House, Texan defense stout. Steelers getting DK Metcalf back. Maybe that changes the calculus for you. How you looking to play this Monday night game?
I am absolutely positively grabbing the points with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm probably going to play them on the money line as well. We were talking about how long it's been since the Bills won a road playoff game. Tell me the last time the Pittsburgh Steelers lost on Monday night.
At home, it's been a while.
I think we're up to 23 or 24 straight
It's ridiculous.
here. Am I getting in the way of that? No, I sure am not. But I like the idea. We got T.J. Watt back. We have, Aaron Rodgers in his bag. This offense has quietly come alive. It's a short passing offense. Rodgers gets rid of the ball quick. And we just watched this Texans defense here over the last handful of weeks show some weird vulnerability. They did let Riley Leonard put up 30 points, and they kept getting beat deep, which was a little bit concerning. They were getting over the top, the Colts were. But the thing that really clinches it for me and why I think Pittsburgh is the side is because the splits between C.J. Stroud indoors at home or indoors really anywhere in the league and outdoors are dramatic. He has less than a 60% completion rate outdoors. His numbers, by comparison, indoors and outdoors, have a huge disparity. And this isn't just an outdoors game. This is Pittsburgh, where the wind blows in ways that nobody can make any sense out of, and they play on the worst football field, not only in the NFL, but I would put it up against college and many of the high school teams. The fields that they play on are all superior. It's an advantage for the Steelers. We just watched it. That poor kid from Baltimore had no chance of making that field goal at the end of the game to knock the Steelers out. He shanked that thing 15 yards right because the field's all funky and the wind is funky, and that man felt funky. Give me the Pittsburgh Steelers here outright, but I'll grab the points as well.
2 for 2 on the Steelers. Dream, take on the game.
Okay, so this is a very tough game for me because you guys know through most of the season, I called this Texans defense the 2000s Ravens. They were allowing 16 points a game. So basically, if they scored 20 points, they were winning that game. Now, over the last couple of weeks, they've slipped a little bit. From weeks 15 to 18, they've been 12th in EPA per play, despite playing the Cardinals, Raiders, Chargers, and Colts with Leonard. So the defense has slipped a little bit. Obviously, they've had injuries to Mario Edwards and Tim Settle on the defensive line, so the depth is not the same. But you still have Will Anderson and you still have Danielle Hunter. And I think that's still going to be a problem for the Pittsburgh Steelers, especially in the first half. So I'm going to go Texans first half -1.5. Texans been getting off to fast starts all year long. 12-5 straight up in the first half. And just as a whole, we know Aaron Rodgers at this point in time, this is the Larry Holmes status version of Aaron Rodgers. This is not the guy who was mobile, who was throwing Hail Marys and doing all types of crazy stuff. This is not him anymore. He's very sensitive to pressure. He ranks 31st in EPA per play out of 33 qualifying quarterbacks and 25th in completion over expectation when pressured. So he does not want to deal with pressure. You saw him. He was scared to death to take a sack from Myles Garrett because he didn't want to give up that record. Now you got to deal with William Anderson and Danielle Hunter. I think earlier on in this game, they might get shut out in the first half. And look, I know there's some Tomlin voodoo, especially on Monday night. I don't want to have to deal with that for the second half because the Steelers tend to find a way to hang around in these games, and the Texans, they can't score. So I'm going Texans first half -1.5.
Okay, boys. House is on the Steelers. Sal is on the Steelers. Raheem is not willing to commit to the Houston Texans. Well, guess what? I am beyond willing to commit to the Houston Texans. The Texans are going to go and put the Steelers in a body bag. Okay, you remember the scene in Karate Kid when you got the Cobra Kai saying, put him in a body bag? Well, that's what the Texans are going to do to Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. We saw Aaron Rodgers 2 weeks ago against the Browns, absolutely inept, absolutely incompetent, and had no chance against that defense. You're telling me Aaron Rodgers and this Steeler unit that has no wide receivers to speak of, sorry, I don't care if DK Metcalf is coming back, Derek Stingley on line one, Danielle Hunter, Will Anderson, everything they bring to the table is going to make life miserable for Pittsburgh. They don't have the firepower. They're not going to be able to block them. And C.J. Stroud has been good in the wild card round. He won 2 years ago in this spot. He won a year ago in this spot. I think C.J. Stroud makes it 3-0 in the wild card round. Yeah, I'm taking the Texans -3, but I'll take it a step further. Give me the Texans alt line at +265, -9.5. I think this defense is just way too much. It is a margin game, and the Texans will be moving on to round number 2. All right, player props. Tough to find if you don't like much from the Steeler offense. House, let's start with you.
Yeah, I'm going with Aaron Rodgers over 33.5 pass attempts -102 at the FanDuel Sportsbook. He has taken control of the Steelers offense. It is a dink and dunk offense, and we've seen over the last 3 weeks he's attempted at least 39 passes in each one of those games. The Texans defense is outstanding, and they're going to take away the run, which means the Steelers, with that Texans pass rush coming in, they're just going to be getting rid of the ball. I see big game for Kenneth Gainwell. I see a big game potentially for Warren. Both of those running backs catching balls out of the backfield. DK Metcalf is back, but if they put Stingley on him, then who knows how that's going to play out matchup-wise. But in the 8 games that the Steelers have had 19 or fewer running back runs, which I think is going to be the script here, Rodgers has had 34 or more attempts in 5 of those 8. And that includes a game that Rodgers got hurt in. So over 33.5 passing attempts for Aaron Rodgers is my play.
And over involving an Aaron Rodgers player prop for you, Raheem, and under.
Yeah, I'm betting against human achievement. Let's going with Aaron Rodgers. Longest passing completion under 32.5 yards. I really like this one. Obviously, we know he's going to try to get the ball out quickly. And I think you got Kamari Lassiter and Derek Stingley back there. They should be able to lock up anything deep down the field. So let's go under.
Okay. 2 plays involving Aaron Rodgers. Sal, you're looking at the defensive side of the ball for the Pittsburgh Steelers. TJ Watt is back. He's getting a sack in this game.
Yeah, I do like the 2 props we've heard so far on the Steelers-Texans game. But, yeah, I'll go T.J. Watt to record a sack. And this is not based on any wildly positive trend. This is Stroud's actually best year for not taking sacks. Only 23 allowed with him taking snaps. In fact, he hasn't been dumped in 3 games. But this, I think, is going to be a coming-out party for the Steelers defensively. And Watt, with 7 sacks this year. It's been a while since he's had one because he's sidelined when a doctor punctured his lung, allegedly, and now he's playing football. I mean, we're getting paid to talk about it. What a world this is. But the Steelers were one of just 4 teams with 3 or more defenders who created 40-plus pressures. It's Alex Highsmith, it's Nick Herbert, and it's TJ Watt. So Watt had Lamar scrambling for his life last week. He comes up with a big sack in the third quarter, pays plus 116. Twirl those terrible towels. The steel curtain is back.
Like the sound of that. Okay, a year ago, you know who was heavily involved in the Houston Texan offense? A guy by the name of Nico Collins. I know he's missed some time with an injury, but when in doubt, you go to old reliable in these big-time playoff spots. He had 2 monster playoff games against the Chargers and the Chiefs a year ago, and I think 70-plus receiving yards for Nico Collins is a bargain in this game. That's going to be mine. You're basically getting a little over even money. 70-plus receiving yards for the best receiver in this game. Now, boys, it's Wild Card Sunday. I did not contribute to our family meal. We should have done Puka Nacua, by the way, Sal, times 4 for the family meal. And then maybe we would have won.
Definitely.
That would have been ideal. Didn't work out that way. It's a new day. It's a new slate of games. And you know what? It's a new family meal. Anytime touchdowns, you know the script, you know the deal. Sal, lead us off.
All right, it doesn't make sense that I'm hitting these, but I did hit with Watson and Nacua times 2 yesterday. Maybe I get a little something going here. I'm going back to one of the old standards, JJ. Jalen Hurts to get shoved into the end zone by his teammates, plus 115, I believe it is. I think they've overcorrected this line by making this a plus number. Only 8 rushing touchdowns this year for Hurts, 14 last year, and that was with Barkley just going nuts. But the postseason is where Hurts does his best acceptance of a shove. Such an athletic play. He had 5 rushing touchdowns in the playoffs last year. Let's hit this once more since we've taken a little break. Tush pushes us to the window to collect. Let's do the 4 for 4 thing, JJ. Come on.
I like the sound of that house. There's a certain player on the Eagles I gave out as far as an over is concerned. You're including him in this family meal.
Yeah, I mean, this is risky because this moribund Eagles offense, we have both Cousin Sal and me getting touchdowns out of it. I mean, hopefully.
Let's hope it's the 2 touchdowns they're going to score in the game. You know what I mean?
That's it. Hopefully they have 14 points in them, and then 2 field goals for Dream, and we're there. 20 points for this awful Philly offense. Dallas Goedert, anytime touchdown, plus 200. We're just taking advantage of the banged-up linebacker core for this San Francisco 49ers team. Fred Warner, Tatum Bethune, D. Winters, Nick Martin, all out or seriously limited. The Niners have had a hard time defending tight ends anyways. 99 catches, 10 touchdowns to the position. And this just fits the classic Eagles script. Dallas Goedert catches touchdowns come playoff time. Plus 200 on the FanDuel Sportsbook.
From one tight end to another, Raheem, I love this one because we've given him out a bunch on the Ringer Sunday pregame throughout the course of this year. He comes from the alma mater of Syracuse. He's playing in his first playoff game. Who's the tight end we like to score?
Yeah, I'm going with Oronde Gadsden plus 260 in the form of New England clam chowder. I mean, you look at the Patriots, obviously we spoke about their pass defense. They struggled. And, before Gadsden got hurt, he was catching touchdowns all the time. So I really like him today. Let's roll with the plus 260.
I'm stunned you guys didn't get on board for an anytime touchdown in the Bills-Jaguar game just because the total is in the low 50s, so we're thinking there's going to be a whole lot of points between those 2 teams. I went with Travis Etienne because the Buffalo Bills struggle mightily to stop the run, and therefore, Travis Etienne to go and score a touchdown. It's the perfect toasted almond ice cream, which I used to get from the ice cream man all the time. A delightful, delightful treat. Let's take a look at the anytime touchdown family meal for Sunday of Wild Card Weekend. Jalen Hurts for Sal, Dallas Goedert for House, Oronde Gadsden for Raheem Palmer, and I'm taking Travis Etienne. We choose this sucker up 43-1 for this anytime 4-leg parlay. Now, Joe House, before you say goodbye and enjoy the triple header of Wild Card Weekend, we congratulated Raheem Palmer on his Wise Wager Trophy for 2025. A year ago, I stole the title of King of the Dog thanks to Bryce Young in Week 18 against the Atlanta Falcons, but I could not keep the title of King of the Dog. Dogman, 2 out of 3. Congratulations.
I humbly submit to the football gods. Thank you for being so gracious. I regret not betting the Raiders in Week 18. That was an all-timer. I would have finished the season 9-8 on underdogs if I'd just done what my head told me, but my heart scared me away. I went with the Shuck and the Saints, and they were live all the way to the end of that game. But look, 8-9 on underdogs. That's positive ROI, and that's all we're trying to do for the good people out here. Right. God bless all.
Look at housing those dogs. I mean, Raheem, as great as your graphic was yesterday, this one takes it to another level. I need that frame for next year.
And the fact that he's a 2X champion, it just takes, like, honestly, I may get this on a shirt. I like this so much.
I really like that, and let's hats off to Billy Gill for posing for that picture. He really went out of his way.
Billy Gill, Jailhouse, who's keeping score. House buddy, enjoy the games today, and we will see you next Saturday at 3 Eastern, okay?
Let's go win some money, fellas. Let's go win some money.
Yeah. Like the sound of that, especially with the Los Angeles Chargers. When we come back, Anthony Dabbundo still licking his wounds like I am with the Packers. What does he have for the Sunday card? You'll find out coming up next.
By every pod, we talk about these two teams. So
we do.
Texans at the Steelers. Steelers +3 here. I'll go first again. What the heck? Rodgers, Tomlin, undecided on future after another Steelers playoff loss.
Okay.
I like the Texans here. I understand I've been wrong about the Steelers like 17 different times this year. Can't get a handle on them. It's been such a wild season, from the fire Tomlin chance to the Ravens missed field goal. And here we are. They're 1 win away, a home win where they're only 3-point dogs from playing in the freaking divisional round. But I think it ends here. I think that the Texans defensively, this is just one of those games where their speed, athleticism, physicality versus the Steelers offense is really going to show up. I know you've mentioned to me a million times about this Steelers offense and how they throw the ball 5 yards downfield. That's just what they average. It's a league low for the entire season. And you know who has the best EPA on short passes in the NFL? It's this Houston Texans defense. So I just feel like the matchup works in their favor. Do I say it with any confidence? Of course I don't. I've learned my lesson with the Tomlin voodoo this year, but I do like the Steelers. I do like he just got to me. He got inside my head. I do like the Texans in this game, Austin. Are you with me or are you on the other side?
For my headline here, I tried to think of something Mike Tomlin would say, some crazy quote that no one really understands. And I just ended up going with "What is dead may never die." And I'm on the Steelers this week. I am. And I've been very adamant on this podcast how the defense is the worst of the Tomlin era. The offense is fraudulent because they don't throw the ball downfield, blah, 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 blah. All that said, it's a home game on Monday night, and no one is believing in the Steelers. And it's just exactly what Mike Tomlin does. Like, this is how Mike Tomlin wins football games. He wins football games by motivating his team to convince them no one believes in us. We're dogs again at home in a night game. He's won like 23 Monday night games in a row.
This is a crazy stat.
It's a crazy stat. It's a crazy stat. Everyone's throwing it around.
I can't believe it. They haven't lost on Monday night in decades or whatever it is. It's crazy.
You give them a little extra time to convince the entire locker room that no one believes in us and everyone just comes out with an edge. And you said the Texans defense is arguably the best in the NFL. Yet styles make fights. And I kind of feel like the Steelers offense, specifically because it's designed to get the ball out so quickly, Aaron Rodgers has the fastest time to throw of his career and of any quarterback this season. And I think they've been able to find some success running the football with Kenny Gainwell and Jalen Warren as well. It's going to be very hard against the Texans defense. If there's something I know about this defense, they have very good edge players, specifically at defending the run. I think it's going to be hard for the Steelers to find success there. But still, for some reason, I think that the Steelers offense,
Home stretch, Ringer Sunday pregame, triple header on Wild Card Weekend. John Jastremski, cousin Sal, Raheem Palmer, and I welcome in Anthony Dabbundo. I don't know what he's holding. Oh, he's doing the grated cheese thing. Dabbundo,
oh my God.
I am so done with the Packers. That was the perfect you-know-what Sunday on my Wild Card Saturday. 21-3 lead. cruising, rolling. Matt LaFleur happened. Bears defense adjusts. Caleb with some unbelievable plays. A perfect and fitting end for the 2025 Green Bay Packers, was it not?
Yeah. I mean, it's like a replay of every Packers loss in the playoffs from the last 5 to 6 years. Some kind of special teams disaster, some kind of blown lead, conservative play calling in the second half, overly aggressive play calling too. It was like a mix of both, where they were taking all these downfield shots late in the game, inability to get off the field on 3rd and 4th down in the second half. We saw the impact of no Micah Parsons, but really like so freaking annoying. I got this cheese grater, and I was debating if I wanted to do this for the entire segment, but I
was
don't
going to say, will he hold it
Please
for the next
don't.
14 minutes? The no is minus 590.
I just had to put my lip balm on my eyelids
There
to try
you go.
to
Which now
overcome
has
this.
become a tradition that I was so unaware of that frightens me because I'm afraid of irritating my eyes.
The
Just
whole
saying.
Ringerverse is hooked. I
I got Sal ordering Burt's Bees off of Amazon.
Listen, Burt's Bees is great. I use it all the time. I'm sorry I'm giving you free promotion on my lips.
Well,
I
you
need
need
it.
to move
Dry
it from your
conditions
lips
in New
to the
York.
eyelids, and you'll be on to
just move
something.
it up a couple inches. You're good.
Yeah, I don't know if I could get on board with that. That sounds like a no for me, dog. Anyway, Dabbundo, we're done with the Packers. I'm very disappointed.
God.
We'll see if Matt LaFleur ends up as my next head coach. But we have 3 games to get to here on Sunday. Jacksonville, Buffalo. For me, hands down, no questions asked, the toughest game to pick because everything about the matchup screams Jacksonville. Yet I see Josh Allen on the other sideline, a wide open AFC playoff race. And I am conflicted picking against him. That's why I am picking Josh Allen in this game, even though all evidence would point to taking the Jaguars. I give you the 4 on this. You've had Buffalo going deep. You said the winner of this game is going to go to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
But what's the angle for the game Sunday in about 15 minutes?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out a creative way to play this game, and I landed on the Cousin Sal special.
Oh.
Jacksonville wins the first half. Buffalo wins the game 5-1 at FanDuel Sportsbook. I think that's probably the best way to play this because I do think Jacksonville will be able to slow down the run game. And I know that Buffalo probably knows this too, right? Like the Bills, they game plan, they practice. But I just think they're so stubborn. I think Joe Brady is going to come out and try to establish the run. And I don't really think it's going to be effective because Jacksonville's been top 5 all year in success rate allowed and in EPA per rush. So I think Jacksonville gets an early lead in this game. And then we see as we get closer to the second half, the effect of Josh Allen just being unleashed on this game. And I think that could ultimately turn this. Who do you trust more in a fourth quarter? Josh Allen or Trevor Lawrence? I know that he's been better. I know their offense has changed, but still at the end of the day, I think it's worth a shot at 5-1. So instead of playing Buffalo money line or the Jags, I'm taking the Jags to win the first half, the Bills to win the game. And if we can get really lucky, Sal, the Bills will win by exactly 1, and we can still hit our Ringer 107 pick.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice? After
That's
that,
right, because Buffalo favored. Excellent point. At least on the Ringer 107, they are not favored at the moment because this line has flipped. Jacksonville is now a 1.5 point favorite in the game. And the total AD is pretty high. That's why I figured for the anytime touchdown family meal, we would have multiple contributions from the Bills-Jaguars game, not the Eagle-Niner game where that total is in the low to mid 40s. Be that as it may, player prop, figure a whole lot of scoring, a whole lot of points between these two teams. Who do you like from a player prop for Buffalo or Jacksonville?
Yeah, I do like the Dalton Kincaid overs. I think he's worth laddering too. I just don't really know where the offense is going to come from otherwise. Like if you look at this Buffalo team, the cast of characters they've assembled at wide receiver, various guys who've been in and out of the lineup with injury, with off the field stuff, with attitude stuff. You're like, oh, what's going on with the Bills? And I think you see the limitations of Buffalo when they go up against a team like Philly or a team like Houston. Like probably their 2 worst offensive games this year. Not a coincidence they came against really good secondaries, teams that have coverage. And Jacksonville's coverage unit has been good, but it's certainly not elite. Like you can throw the ball on the Jaguars this year. We even saw the Colts, rolling out Phillip Rivers, and they were moving the ball on this Jacksonville defense. So I think ultimately Kincaid is the answer to that. If there is an area where Jacksonville struggles defensively, they've given up the 6th most receptions per game to tight ends. So I think Kincaid has a big one. He needs to. Otherwise, I don't really know where the offense is coming from unless it's Josh Allen or James Cook.
Okay, you like Kincaid overs. Would you dare I say get on board with Kincaid to score a touchdown? Which, by the way, in case you're wondering, I'll get you the exact number.
It's like
plus
plus
260. Juicy.
I don't mind that. I think him and Knox are always valuable. We know that Allen looks for them in the red zone. They're high target share guys in the red zone, and both guys kind of look similar. So when you're running out, you don't have to sweat. If you bet both of them, when they throw the quick slant to the guy, you're not sure if it's Knox or Kincaid. You have both, so you're actually covered. Because I've had that happen before where I thought one was one, and then the other guy actually caught the touchdown.
Let me give kudos to Tony Tokens right here, right now. This is two picks, about 4 minutes worth of discussion. He has not led with an under yet.
You just had to open your mouth, cousin Sal.
Why did
you had to open your mouth because as much credit as you may want to give our guy, as we move down the board of games, come on, man, you had to know it was a question of not if, but when you were going to get an under from the underman himself. And that leads us to a game that I think we all kind of like from a total perspective, which is the Niners and the Eagles. We have this line at 44.5. Sal likes it, AD. I like it. House likes it. We're all on the under. Make the case.
Yeah, beautiful day here in Philly. Looks like the weather's going to be pretty good.
Weather not a factor. Great point, because that was a big topic of discussion yesterday. Windy.
I do wonder if the wind could hurt the Eagles' downfield passing just a little bit, because Hurts is very reliant on the deep ball to get that offense going anywhere. But look, my two favorite bets this weekend, one of which was Green Bay to win. So we're 0-1. The other of which was the under in this game at 4:30. And I don't like this matchup at all for the Niners offense. I think the Eagles match up quite well with them. You can run it on Philly a little bit, but I don't think they'll be able to use the middle of the field the way that Shanahan likes to. He's usually so efficient using the middle of the field. It doesn't really happen against this Philly team. They're so good against tight ends. Their linebackers are great in space. Fangio takes it away. Fangio's had a lot of success against Shanahan, too. I think that's a big reason why. So as a result, I don't love this for Purdy and the Niners offense. And on the other side, I mean, how can you trust the Eagles offense to do anything? If they only score for 1/2 per game, it's a great live betting opportunity. If the Eagles are up, say 17-7 in the third quarter, live bet the under. Like, I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for the Niners to maybe even hang around, maybe even cover the spread in this game. The back door will always be open against the Eagles, the way that they play offense. But I don't think it's a great recipe for points. So give me the under 44.5.
Like the sound of it. And you do have a problem, AD. If you're taking the Eagles, number one, you're not getting the best of the number from a spread perspective. Number two, have you found anybody that likes the Niners this week? I can't find a damn soul on planet Earth who likes the Buffalo Bills or the San Francisco 49ers in these two games. Can't find them.
I got 3 texts. The Eagles fans are very confident. I got 3 texts last night asking me what time I think Eagles-Bears will be next week.
That reeks of a Sunday. I can tell you, I think that's a Sunday late afternoon window.
6:30, yeah. That's what I thought.
What's the path for the 49ers to win this game?
The Eagle offense stinking up the joint and the Niners executing in the red zone.
I mean, would the 49ers
Can't kick
get to the
field
red
goals.
zone?
It's getting a lead early. They have to play from the front here, I think.
And it's got to be a big McCaffrey day. Niners got no chance if this is not going to be a big McCaffrey day. Okay, player prop. You're looking at a Niner tight end who's had his fair share of big playoff games. You don't anticipate George Kittle is going off in this one, AD.
Yeah, this is part of the fear that I have for this Niners offense in general. Philadelphia has been the best team in the league against tight ends this year, and they were top 3 last year. I don't think it's a coincidence that since Zach Bond came into Philly, since Cooper DeJean came into Philly, since they drafted Jahad Campbell this year, and since Vic Fangio became the defensive coordinator, they have become elite over the middle of the field defensively, elite against underneath stuff. Look, George Kittle's an awesome tight end. He can certainly get to 60 yards, but I like under 59.5. I think he's a little bit inflated. And like we said on the Friday show, Sal, not sure he's 100% healthy. I feel like he's been kind of in and out with injury the last few weeks. Not sure if he's 100%. And if it were a regular season game, would he even be playing if they didn't absolutely need him?
Okay. We're out on George Kittle. 44.5 under is the play. Don't have a great feel, AD, on the spread in this game. You staying away?
Yeah, I mean, at this number, I couldn't lay Philly. We have Philly. Sal and I do. I think they'll win the game, but I don't really trust them. I mean, how do you trust this offense?
I don't. That's why I'm making the case for the Niners plus the points.
Yeah. I don't blame people for taking them now. I mean, what also caused this line move?
I think the injuries and what you saw from the Niners, Sal, on Saturday against Seattle, I think that's what caused it.
On paper, this was the best game, right, of the weekend, but we already saw 2 classics, so this it's probably going to be 20-3 in the fourth quarter, something stupid.
Come on, we don't want duds. We want classics. I just want to be on the right side of the classics.
Is Brock Purdy even going to make it through this game? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to sound overconfident, but it just feels like a game where the 49ers left it all on the field last week. And now you got to come and play a similar defense.
Trent Williams backed up. That's a big deal. Don't sleep on that. All right, we got one more game to get to, AD, and that's the Chargers and the Patriots. We have family unity across the board. We're 4 for 4 on the Los Angeles Chargers. You want to make it 5 for 5?
Were we 4 for 4 on the Packers last night?
Raheem was not. Raheem was iffy on it.
Raheem's the Bears whisperer this year.
Yeah,
he's got the Caleb Williams
second half, and then you guys know I live money lined it.
Yeah, that was the sharp play. I mean, us squares are going to take the 3.5, right? Hook, line, and sinker. I'm in. I took it. I don't trust this New England defense to hold leads. I think the Chargers will be able to move the ball down the field. New England's not a great pass rush. So as bad as the Chargers O-line is, they're not going to be the team to really take advantage of it. We've seen the Chargers move the ball against better pass rushes in the last few months since all their O-linemen became injured. So I like the 3.5 here. I feel like this is a field goal game either way. I'll go 27-24. I said Chargers in an upset, but I do also agree there should be points in this game. Weather doesn't look bad. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see what Drake May does against a defense that is designed to take away the deep ball, and that will be the defining matchup of this game.
AD, you like the Chargers outright. Can I entice you plus 460 to make the conference championship?
I don't mind it. I mean, I don't love having to play potentially 2 games in 6 days if they having to come back, because if they win, they'll play Saturday. So they'd have to play 2 games in 6 days. Meanwhile, Denver basically going to have a week off. They'd have been rested. That's not a great spot. Traditionally, the team who looks good on Sunday and then has to go turn around, play the short week road game, second straight. But they match up pretty well with Denver. I mean, their defense is designed to slow down what Denver wants to do as well, and they're not able to get those big explosive plays. That feels like, what, Denver closes minus 2.5 in that game?
I think so. Let's get into the window.
Lines. Yeah.
JJ, I'm going to say this. I think, to your point, the narrative Monday could be LaFleur sucks and Justin Herbert way overrated. He really has to come through today.
Oh, if he plays poorly in this game, I'm eviscerating him on Monday.
They lost that
I'll tell you that right
game.
now.
He was terrible against Houston last year. He can't be a first round one and done every single year.
And if you go one and done, you better throw for 4 touchdowns and 300 yards. Just still food.
I mean, Jordan Love is still getting criticized on my timeline. I don't know what timeline you guys are living on.
See, I'm not after Love. I have a bigger problem with the head coach. That's a story for a different day. Before we say goodbye, AD, I need a player prop on this game.
Yeah, the one thing the Chargers have also struggled with this year is mobile quarterbacks and teams who are able to, scramble and get yards that way. We've seen that time and time again. So, Drake May is plus 260 to score in this game. I do like points. I'm going to go with the Drake May anytime touchdown, plus 260 in this one.
No, I like that. That's good value. Plus 265.
Like
Sign me up right now. And then, AD, parlay that with the Herbert rushing prop and the May rushing prop, and you're cooking with gas. I might add it. Make it the third leg.
Yeah, we're rooting for a lot of offense in the Sunday night game. That's always, it feels like a dangerous recipe, because then you wake up and it's 10-3 in the fourth quarter and all of your picks are dead and you're looking around like, what happened? That's a possibility here, but I do ultimately think that Drake May will have success on the ground. Herbert will need to, right? He's kind of at the point where it's the point of no return with their O-line. So you'll see him run. May will run. And again, I think, 24-24, last team with the ball wins.
Sally, we'll see you Sunday night with Simmons right after Chargers, Patriots, Raheem and Dabbundo. I'll see you Monday for East Coast Bias. That's going to do it for this Loaded Ringer Sunday pregame. For Sal, Raheem, AD, and JJ, we're signing off. Enjoy the games. Be good, everybody. I got another 5 seconds.